Studio presented by Green Lamb Laminates. Prime Minister Narendra Modi created history after he became the first Indian Prime Minister to visit the headquarters of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India in New Delhi yesterday. The Prime Minister took part in the Christmas celebrations hosted by the bishops at the CBCI Centre premises, and addressing the program, Prime Minister Modi said Christ teaches love, harmony and brotherhood, and he urged everyone to work towards strengthening these values in the society. But it seems Prime Minister's Sabka Saath outreach has irked some. Over 200 prominent individuals, including Tushar Gandhi, Annie Raja, Father Cedric Prakash, John Dayal, have signed a joint statement. And what is it all about? It's expressing grave concerns over the increasing persecution of Christians in India. The statement highlights the alarming rise in violence and harassment against the Christian community and calls for urgent action to address the issue. They claim that the persecution of Christians and Muslims has surged in recent years, driven by the resurgence of Hindutva nationalism, which has exacerbated anti-minority sentiment. And that's not all. A Kerala Orthodox Church priest has slammed Prime Minister's Christmas event amid Palakkad incident, where VHP activists were earlier arrested for disrupting Christmas celebrations and vandalizing a Christmas crib. In a social media post referring to the bishops' conference, the Kerala bishop has said, and let me quote, "There the bishops are being honoured and he," meaning the Prime Minister, "is bowing before the Christmas crib. And here the Christmas crib is being destroyed." So clearly the Bharatiya Janata Party's efforts to engage with the Christian community is facing growing challenges. Does it expose contradictions in its outreach strategy? But more importantly, when there is an outreach being made to the Christian community, why mock it? That's a question we'll be posing to our guests tonight. But with activists criticizing Prime Minister Modi's presence in Christmas programs, BJP has hit back at them, calling it baseless. While activists said that Christians in India are being attacked for their faith, the BJP has countered the claim that they are exaggerating or fabricating these concerns for political gain. Activists claim that there has been a significant surge in violence against Christians, particularly in the form of mob violence, forced conversions, and destruction of churches. In response, the BJP has rejected these accusations, labeling it self-motivated and lies. Activists argue that Hindutva nationalism, the ideological foundation of the Bharatiya Janata Party, is fueling religious violence in India. The BJP counters these criticisms by emphasizing the Prime Minister's commitment to peace and brotherhood. Remember, Prime Minister Modi has over the years made several efforts to engage with India's Christian community, and let me take you through the entire timeline. On 14th of June this year, Prime Minister Modi invited Pope Francis to visit India. The Pope's visit to India was a significant diplomatic gesture aimed at strengthening ties between the Indian government and the Catholic Church as well. On 18th of October in 2020, Prime Minister Modi marked the anniversary of Dr. Joseph Marthoma Metropolitan. On 5th of April in 2023, Prime Minister Modi even met the head of Malankara Orthodox Syrian Church in Delhi. And that very year, on 25th of December, Prime Minister Modi hosted lunch for Christians at his residence. And that's something that also happened last year. We bring you more.
Some people have been arrested just for having kept Bible in their home. Christians do keep copies of Bible with respect. Bible is not a terroristic manual, and he is not doing anything to stop the fringe, so-called fringe elements of Sangha Parivar.
No amount of this fake narrative peddling by this group of motivated individuals as this clique will change the reality and the truth.
All right. Also joining me live on the broadcast is Mr. Tushar Gandhi, who, as we all know, is a renowned author, also the great-grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. He is also one of the signatories to that joint statement, which has come from the activists. Let's quickly go across to Mr. Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi, thank you for joining in. You are among the 200 signatories who have signed that joint statement expressing grave concerns over the increasing persecution of Christians in India. Please share what's been highlighted in your statement.
See, this is, when we heard the news of a Christian organization inviting the Prime Minister for a Christmas celebration, it sounded a bit ironical, also worrying, because in the past few years, especially since the Prime Minister's terms, there have been news about increasing attacks on Christian institutions and clergy, and especially around Christmas time, and attacks carried out by various bodies of the Sangh Parivar. And so the concern was that by attending the meeting or the function, would it be used as if everything was normal and, all the Christians were very happy with the situation in the country. The other thing was also that the Prime Minister has strangely kept mum over these increasing instances of attacks and things. And we wanted to remind the hosts that, they should ask the Prime Minister to clarify on his silence over the increasing attack and vitriol against the community. And so the the petition arises from these two concerns.
It's interesting that you talk about Prime Minister's silence, because at the Bishop conference just yesterday, Prime Minister Modi said, and let me quote him verbatim, "It pains my heart when there are attempts to spread violence and cause disruptions in society." He's also added that the teachings of Lord Christ celebrate love, harmony and brotherhood, and it is important for all to work to make this spirit stronger. BJP repeatedly reiterates its commitment to the constitutional principle of equality, which includes minority outreach programs in states like Kerala, even support for Christian refugees under the CAA from countries like Pakistan. Why would one say that Prime Minister has been a mute spectator?
Well, he does have very good speechwriters. I must give him credit for that. And they have this ability to gloss over all his shortcomings, but they seem to forget that he is in a position of authority. Merely saying that my heart is pained by these attacks on minorities and violence and all that, while you are the Prime Minister of the country and not doing, enforcing the law of the land, the constitutional provisions and all that, is a very big hypocrisy on his part. And I think he should at least, before making such wonderful statements, look inwards and say, did I act to prevent these from happening, or did I act to punish those who did that? What good is a Prime Minister if he's only going to be sympathetic in words and not be using his authority to protect citizens equally?
All right. Now, soon after Kerala's Orthodox Church priest has slammed Prime Minister's Christmas event amid the Palakkad incidents when VHP members have been arrested, BJP State President of Kerala, K. Surendran, has said that there's a larger conspiracy behind this incident, and it poses a great challenge to BJP's ongoing outreach efforts with the Christian community in Kerala.
The Kerala incident is to be cited. You must also understand there is a non-BJP government, and the police in the state are directly answerable to the state government. So how does that go to the credit of the Prime Minister?
But there is a Sneh Yatra being embarked on by the BJP in Kerala, and BJP state president has also said, Mr. Surendran says that there's a conspiracy behind this. He's also quoted last year's incident when BJP's Wayanad district president K. Madhu, who had called priests who were protesting against wildlife attacks as terrorists, and that the BJP was very quick in removing him from that post. This is what the defense that's come in from Mr. Surendran.
Yeah, well, he can counter whatever he wants. The incidents are not confined to Kerala. They are countrywide. They have happened in Madhya Pradesh. They've happened in Uttar Pradesh. They've happened in Delhi, Haryana, all over. So, just citing the case examples of Kerala is not going to help. What are they doing in BJP-controlled states to bring these culprits to, or punish these culprits, or at least bring them to justice? And in the BJP-controlled state, his often boasted claim of double-engine sarkar, of which one engine is the central government, of which he is the head. So, these things sound beautiful, but puerile, because there's no action to back up from his side.
My last question, Mr. Gandhi, as the great-grandson of the Mahatma who believed in Sarva Dharma Sadbhav, Mr. Gandhi was against the idea of one person converting another and believed that people should instead try to be better followers of their own faith. How do you respond to accusations of conversion coming in from, say, like the VHP or the Bajrang Dal, who've been consistently condemning the decision of state governments to even repeal the anti-conversion laws in states like Karnataka?
Conversion under coercion or conversion with bribery is bad. But voluntary conversion cannot be blamed on the clergy. If I tomorrow feel, I'm an atheist, so I'm never going to feel that way. But if I feel tomorrow that Christianity is better for me, I should have the liberty to convert to that. That cannot be blamed on a clergy thing. So conversion by coercion is bad, and that should be punished. But you can't blanket ban the personal freedom of people who want to convert by choice. And so bringing this, every time there is a talk about the Christian clergy and attacks on Christianity, it's a very good excuse by these militant organizations, radical organizations, that they convert and the conversion is wrong and bad. And even Bapu criticized conversion. Bapu criticized conversion and said, respect all religions. Do you respect the other religions as much as you claim to respect Hindu? And you don't even respect true Hinduism. You only force Hindutva under the name of religion. So, these people are pseudos, and I don't think they can be legitimized in any manner.
Mr. Tushar Gandhi, thank you so much for joining us on Brass Tacks over here. And with that, let me quickly go across to my guests tonight. I'm joined in by our esteemed panelists, who's in fact Mr. Tuhin Sinha, the national spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Sri Raj Nair, who's the spokesperson for the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and Mr. Matthew Antony, who's the spokesperson for the Congress Party. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in. Matthew Antony, when you have someone like Mr. KJ Alphonse, who says that Christians in India are very much safe, are you also denying the outreach which is currently being made by the Prime Minister and his government?
First of all, Merry Christmas wishes to all of the audience and all of you.
To all of you too.
It's Christmas Eve. Thank you. As a Prime Minister of the country, it is a welcome sign that he did the wishes. But as Narendra Modi and BJP, it is nothing but an empty election management system or an election management mockery of the community, because Christians in India are not Christians alone from Kerala. You only have Reverend Bishop Oswald Gracious from Mumbai. But aren't there any other bishops, apart from the Kerala bishops? Because the Kerala election is coming. And now, we have the BJP spokesperson here. Three VHP people from Kerala were arrested for attacking and abusing the school students and a Christian crib tableau for the Christmas. And the headmistress and all were abused. And there are issues happening in other parts of the country. What about the Christians plight in Punjab? What about the Christians plight in Rajasthan? And a couple of other questions which I want to raise to you here, that more than 300 plus churches have been plundered. 60,000 to 70,000 people have to relocate. 2,500 to 3,000 houses were burned. Aren't these all records? And in Manipur, why the Prime Minister has still not got the time to visit? And his silence is kind of praised as a communication strategy, but whereas I will call it as a mockery and as an insult to the people who are in pain. What is he doing? Why doesn't he have the courage to go and admit? Why is he sitting in a glass tower when he has got time to visit all other parts of the world? Now, coming to other thing, we have a state in Meghalaya, and the next state near to Meghalaya, the opening gate to Meghalaya is Assam. They have banned beef. And in Meghalaya, they are in power with NPP. Why they have not banned beef there? Why they have not banned beef in Goa? Why they have not banned beef in Kerala? So for BJP, the love to Christianity is business. Their political ideology is extreme Hindutva.
All right, let me quickly bring in you've in fact launched your attack, Mr. Anthony. Let me quickly bring in Sriraj Nair. Mr. Nair, how much of this is true, what Mr. Surendra has been claiming in Kerala, that this is a larger conspiracy, given that those who have been arrested are VHP members? Then why call it a conspiracy?
See, Mr. Surendra is absolutely right. The way Christian community in Kerala is coming nearer to BJP, because the Christians have been always under attack. We saw a couple of years back what happened to Professor Thomas. His hands were chopped off. So Christians are equally suffering the radical Islamists there. So the way Christians are coming nearer to the BJP, and together they are fighting against the radical Islam as well as the communist regime. There is an insecurity amongst Congress that is being seen. So a larger conspiracy was hatched, and this is we absolutely say it's a conspiracy. And moreover, today you said about 200 signatories. Who are the signatories? These are the signatories who were the beneficiaries during the Congress regime. So it's a thanksgiving for them. All these incidences, what Mr. Anthony has been saying, are really blown up. Maybe there may be some stray incidents here and there. Christians, by and large, they are safe in this country, and not a single incident has been an organized attack by any of our organizations. We have nothing against anybody, provided they are not doing any kind of
Sriraj Nair, is it not true? Is it not true that those who were arrested were VHP members?
See, first of all, let the investigation take place. There is a communist regime. There is a CPIM government.
Okay.
As I said, I fully agree with Surendranji. It's a larger conspiracy to frame our people also. This is absolutely a hoax. It's all bogus theory which is going on. You will see soon what is.
Matthew Anthony, I'm going to give you time for a rebuttal. But Tuhin Sinha has been very patiently awaiting his turn. Tuhin Sinha, all of those points that we've been making so far as Prime Minister's own outreach is concerned, giving minorities refuge in our country, Christian minorities who are being persecuted in Pakistan, giving them refuge under the CAA. And Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, or that entire pitch is today being negated as far as Prime Minister himself is concerned.
Well, good evening, Akansha. A Merry Christmas to you and to all the viewers.
To you too.
I was very amused to see Tushar Gandhi set the agenda for the show, because like Yogendra Yadav, he has a major credibility issue and he was struggling to make his point. So I couldn't figure out what exactly his grouse was. Point is that if there are standalone incidents of violence against a particular community, that is a law and order issue, and there are strict action is being taken again under the law. To my knowledge, most of these incidents, wherever they take place, have been a result of predatory proselytization, and even then, we don't condone it. It is condemnable, and strict action needs to be taken. As far as Honorable Prime Minister is concerned, see, there is a larger messaging involved in his outreach to the Christian community on the eve of Christmas. And, let us look at the macro level. It involves the definition of a minority. Till date, we have had leaders, we have had governments which have gone the extra mile for the minority, which has an 18% population in the country. I think we need to redefine the minority. The minority, the real minority, is that which which has a 2% population, and Honorable Prime Minister has done the right thing by reaching out to that community because in the past they've always been ignored by successive governments. And even recently, Prime Minister is a proud Sanatani. He respects all religions. As recently as 2 weeks ago, Archbishop George Jacob Kuvakad, who hails from Kerala, was elevated to the position of Cardinal by Pope Francis. A team, a high-level delegation went from India to celebrate that. So it's not a one-off celebration. It's not a one-off, episode where the Prime Minister is reaching out to the community. The Prime Minister has always reached out to the real minorities.
Matthew Anthony, I'm sure you want to...
And those real minorities are Christian 2.3%, Buddhist 0.7%. For the first time, we have a Buddhist as a minority affairs minister. We have a minority commission which is headed by a Sikh. I think, there is a larger messaging which many of these people who are rent-a-cause activists are really missing out on.
I want to quickly bring you in, Matthew Anthony, but before I do that, I also want to in fact refer to conversion figures from 2021 by the Pew Research, which in fact goes on to talk about how 0.4% of survey respondents were former Hindus who now identify as Christians. And the BJP has been consistently maintaining that these conversion programs which are currently being run in the country, correct me Tuhin Sinha if I am wrong, are foreign funded. And so it is acting as a double-edged sword where you are not only, having someone quit their religion, you are also questioning their patriotism given that these are foreign funded organizations. Matthew Anthony.
Akansha, that is their propaganda. That's exactly what we are saying, that we never maintained a stand that forced conversion is acceptable to any.
Are you negating that there is no forced conversion happening?
I'm not going to comment on, forced conversion because I'm representing the party here, so I'm not someone to speak about a particular religion. Right. Though I'm a Christian, I'm not supposed to speak on that.
But I'm also presenting the grouse of these parties that are being questioned today, and I think Sriraj Nair would perhaps be able to expand better than me
Akansha,
when it comes to the VHP or the Bajrang Dal.
I just need a minute to complete what I was saying.
You complete that, but also keep in mind the grouse that's being presented by this end of the spectrum.
Exactly. I'm now coming to answer this, that...
See, first of all...
Right,
Oscar Fernandez,
now,
Margaret Alva...
Sriraj Nair, I'll give you time. I'll give you time. Sriraj Nair, let Matthew Anthony make his point and I'll give you time. Yes.
And then our leader, Rahul Gandhi, leader of opposition, and our General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi attended, the Indian Parliamentarian Christians meeting with the same bishops. And then there were a couple of other meetings as well. So why are you not projecting it? We always had the outreach. We always there with the Christian community. We have given the maximum representation for the Christian community. But look at this. Who is against the FCRA? Who cancelled Mother Teresa's FCRA? Who put Father Stan Swami as a culprit and made him to die, suffer in the jail? Who killed Graham Staines? And that's an MP here who's studying for Oscar Award right now.
But Matthew Anthony, how vocal was the Congress party in condemning what had happened to Professor Thomas? Were you as vocal as you are now when the VHP members have been arrested?
Let me ask a few questions. If they were so much in love with the Christian community, I am asking the VHP spokesperson and I am asking the BJP spokesperson, are you comfortable in the Christians having beef in this country? Or are you comfortable in doing a business-like relationship where you are comfortable, to win
right, surely. Tuhin Sinha, Tuhin, please come in on that.
Stage, we have made it very clear, that we have nothing to do with the food practices of individuals. They refuse to, acknowledge that in Nagaland, where we are in a coalition government, please don't bargain like this. Have the basic courtesy.
Many other states.
In Nagaland, wwhere we are in government, Nagaland has an 88%.
That is exactly what we are accusing you of, being business-like.
Can you stop barging in?
Right.
Have the basic courtesy, enjoy Christmas. This is not the way you behave.
Right.
So we have always maintained that we will not interfere with the food habits of individuals which they have been practicing, and that is precisely the reason why we continue to rule even in places where the Christian population is even in Goa almost has a 30% Christian population. But yes, if there are certain places, it's a state-to-state decision. So if a particular community feels that is certain food practices need to be encouraged, I think you can't have a one-size-fits-all rule for everybody in the country.
All right, let me quickly bring in Mr. Nair as well. Mr. Nair.
Well, first of all, as you said, as you rightly said, when Professor Thomas's hands were chopped, where were these congressmen? So selectively siding by individuals or just blowing up stray incidences is absolutely uncalled for. Now FCRA, we all know what is happening on the ground. With this FCRA, there were mass scale conversion happening in Andhra Pradesh. You see districts and so many districts like Kadapa and Anandpur, massive conversions happened. They brought in foreigners from Europe. There was rampant conversions happening under the pretext of giving education or healthcare facilities. So all this were definitely a fact. Nobody can deny that fact. So on the other hand, Christians by and large in this country have always been safe. Always been safe.
Right. All right, Matthew.
And I am also from Kerala, Mr. Anthony. I am also from Kerala. We are seeing this in the
All right, let's hear what Matthew has to say. Matthew.
I know you are from Kerala.
Matthew.
So I'm thankful to VHP saying that.
Matthew, I am also from Kerala. We are seeing what is happening.
All right, let's also hear what Matthew is saying.
Under BJP,
why is
the Christians are in danger because how can you say
are
that
insecure? That's it.
very kind of hated by BJP? The cow killing is hated by BJP in all other states, but when it comes to Christian states, where Christians have a vote, then they don't have that religious part of it.
No, cows are revered. We will never compromise on cows.
Political emptiness like this.
VHP spokesperson.
What a political emptiness.
No compromise on that.
Cows.
All right. Tuhin Sinha, you heard that. All right, gentlemen, may I please, this is not how our debate is going to go forward. We are not here in a fish market. Let's please, abide by certain code of conduct over here since we are on national television. Tuhin Sinha, please go ahead. You heard what Sriraj Nair is saying, that you will not be compromising when it comes to cow slaughter A. I also want to ask you all these, when it comes
I fully disagree with Tuhin Sinha also. I'm on record, I'm saying it cannot be state by state. Cows cannot be touched anywhere in this country.
All right, Tuhin, before I pose my question, I think you should go ahead and answer what Sriraj is saying.
At the very start, I had mentioned that whatever few incidents of friction that has been reported against the Christians, largely it is on account of forced conversions. And on your show, the Congress party has shied away from taking a stand on forced conversion. The Congress spokesperson very cleverly said, I don't have the mandate to talk about it. I think that is where the problem lies. In fact, even Congress leaders have been secretly encouraging that forced conversion.
Matthew Anthony?
I said, that I am not a spokesperson of a particular religion. We are against forced conversion. I've made the stand very clear. What did I say? Where was I confused? I am now seeing, that the BJP and the VHP is kind of distancing from the fact that, what is your position on beef? Are you kind of saying that it is a business-like decision and it is not your political ideology that, you're against beef? I'm just asking that, to both the people to square it off.
No, but I'm going to quickly pose my last question to Tuhin. Tuhin, I think the allegation coming in for the ruling party is also that whatever Prime Minister is doing is mere lip service and that this is just tokenism because he has still not openly condemned what happened as far as the incident in Kerala is concerned. Apart from that, can we call all those welfare schemes, it's not just Hindus benefiting out of those welfare schemes, who's standing to benefit those? Is this also not an outreach to the minorities when you talk about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, when we talk about a minority program which is talking about Modi Mitra to engage with the minority communities? Are we negating all of that?
Again, I believe you are just confining the discussion to one community. The Prime Minister has had an equal outreach for the Sikh community. For the first time, 26 December.
No, today we will restrict it to the Christian community because a lot of furor happened after last night's visit to the Bishop Conference. That's why.
But the Prime Minister's approach has been similar to all minority communities. Today, obviously because of Christmas, he's celebrating Christmas with the Christian community. But it is no different than what it has been in previous years. Even, in fact, on previous year, he had a function at his home. Anju, Bobby George, I remember the ex-Olympian was there. There was a huge gathering. So it's not something which is happening today. the 200 signatories to the letter are professional, compulsive activists who just find reasons to, drag the Prime Minister's name into something to keep themselves relevant.
Quick, Matthew Anthony, I give you 30 seconds. I have to close.
Who is John Dayal? Everybody
I'm just asking the question to clarify between BHP and BJP on the food pattern. The BJP is saying that no, they will not indulge in, and BHP is saying that no, they will definitely indulge in. What is it for the people of Kerala, the Christians of Kerala? We eat beef, and a lot of Christians, eat beef also.
All right, you've made your point.
Tuhin,
would you like to respond to that? To why there's a difference of opinion?
We have, Assam, where beef ban has been imposed. There are a lot of peculiar problems which Assam is facing. It has the highest incidence of cow smuggling. Bangladeshi migrants are at an all-time. So yes, on an urgent basis, we have addressed the problem in Assam. But to evolve a national consensus will take time.
Absolutely.
And, that is
I'm sure the minorities of this country also agree that we cannot view this nation in a spectrum of black and white. There are shades of grey.
It's a political ideology.
And the Prime Minister has also been making an outreach to the Christian community. He's been keeping the communication lines open, whether it's bishops of this country or even extending an invite to Pope Francis. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in on this discussion. And with that, let me now shift focus over to the other big story that we'll be debating tonight. In a major breakthrough, the Delhi police have busted an illegal immigration racket, arresting 11 individuals involved in forging documents and aiding the entry of Bangladeshi nationals into India. The group includes document forgers, Aadhaar operators, even tech experts who reportedly created fake websites to produce counterfeit identification documents. According to officials, illegal immigrants used jungle routes and express trains to enter Indian territory. Remember, election identity card, if issued to illegal immigrants, provides them the most powerful right of democracy, that is, the right to vote in our country. And giving such rights to illegal immigrants cannot be accepted by any Indian citizen, and such moves can even be detrimental to national security. Meanwhile, a war of words has already escalated between the Aam Aadmi Party and BJP over illegal immigrations, with BJP alleging AAP behind immigration of Bangladeshis, while the Aam Aadmi Party has pinned the blame on Union Home Ministry for the lapses in the security at borders. The question is, who's behind this influx? And so just ahead of Delhi Assembly polls, the influx of illegal Bangladeshi immigrants has become a key poll plank. The BJP has accused Aam Aadmi Party of playing a role in facilitating or encouraging the immigration of Bangladeshis into India, particularly into states like Delhi and West Bengal. In response, the Aam Aadmi Party has defended itself by pointing the role of the border security is centre's responsibility. BJP has, of course, accused the Aam Aadmi Party of supporting illegal immigrants. AAP has countered the allegation by turning the spotlight on the BJP-led central government's actions, particularly Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, who's accused the BJP of settling Rohingya refugees in Delhi. BJP's charge as far as immigration racket linked with AAP is concerned, they counter that by saying that it is the Union Home Minister Amit Shah who is accountable for immigration, and BJP has countered it again by accusing Aam Aadmi Party of being involved in or indirectly supporting an immigration racket that allegedly facilitates illegal migration into India. On the other hand, AAP has claimed that the Union Home Minister is accountable for the broader issue of illegal immigration as well. And so, what is the illegal influx in the capital? According to reports, approximately 50,000 infiltrators were caught entering India just between 2023 and this year. These individuals are believed to have crossed from neighboring countries, primarily Bangladesh and Myanmar. Between 2005 and 2010, approximately 8,300 infiltrators, including Rohingyas and Bangladeshis, were caught entering India, with a significant number making their way into cities like Delhi. Between 2014 and 2018, about 1,134 infiltrators were apprehended. Notably, 397 of these individuals were caught by the Northeast District Police, highlighting the concerns over border areas and infiltration points in the Northeast alone. A significant portion of illegal migrants in the capital are believed to be Rohingyas. According to reports from August of 2023, nearly 900 Rohingyas allegedly reside in the Madanpur Khadar camp in Delhi. We'll be debating that in just a bit.
The Delhi police has busted this entire racket in which immigrants were coming in from all the way from Bangladesh through jungle routes, crossing the border, and then from there they were transported all the way here to the national capital.
We have arrested 5 Bangladeshi citizens. This includes 2 males and 3 females. And besides that, we have arrested 6 more people who were involved in this nexus about creating forged documents.
जिस प्रकार से अरविंद केजरीवाल चुनाव आयोग तक गए हैं इलीगल घुसपैठियों का वोट रुकवाने, हमें पूरा विश्वास है कि इस गैंग का लिंक अरविंद केजरीवाल और उनके विधायकों तक जरूर होगा।
ये तो कोई भी बच्चा जानता है कि बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी, बॉर्डर सुरक्षा का मसला सीधे तौर पे गृह मंत्रालय के अंडर आता है। ये भी हर कोई जानता है कि कोई सीधा दिल्ली में प्रवेश कर ही नहीं सकता, उसको बहुत सारे स्टेट्स एंटर करके दिल्ली आना होगा।
All right. In fact, Tuhin Sinha, who's the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, continues to stay with us. I'll also be joined by the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson in just a bit. But Tuhin, I'm going to quickly begin the discussion with you. The allegation is that Delhi elections are around the corner, which is why you're going full throttle with this crackdown. Why didn't you wake up earlier?
Akansha, in fact, a crackdown on illegal migrants has been happening in different parts of the country. Now, strangely, one common link between the way, fake Aadhaar cards have been distributed to these illegal migrants in different states is that most of these states belong to the Indie Alliance Party. So, in fact, call it a coincidence, but just 2 days ago, there was a report that in the Santhal Parganas region, there are 109%, number of Aadhaar cards are 109% of the actual population of tribals. Now, strangely, there seems to be a fake Aadhaar card racket being presided over in Delhi also. And, the third state which is contributing to this menace is obviously Bengal, another Indie Alliance rule state. Now, what makes Arvind Kejriwal's behavior particularly suspicious is that in the last few weeks, he has been making baseless charges about, Purvanchal voters being denied voting slips and being voter IDs. And, he has not been able to provide any evidence to that effect. And now suddenly we find, this report of illegal migrants being given Aadhaar cards and voting IDs right under his nose. So we, Aam Aadmi Party has always been a shady party. It is a party which at once upon a time had Tahir Hussain and Amanullah Khan as one of the key crusaders. So, we suspect there is a direct link with Aam Aadmi Party leaders, and this is something which they have been presiding over very openly.
All right, Jasmine Shah, who's the spokesperson for the Aam Aadmi Party, joins us as well. A very warm welcome to you, Jasmine. How do you respond to the allegation coming in from the BJP spokesperson?
It seems the problem with BJP spokespersons is that they wake up one day and start disowning the actions of their own leaders. I'm going to start my, address here by sharing what Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri has officially quoted on Twitter as the Union Minister for Urban Development and Housing on 17th August 2022. This is what he says. He has owned this up. India has always welcomed those who have sought refuge in the country. In a landmark decision, all Rohingya refugees will be shifted to EWS flats in Bakarwala area of Delhi. They will be provided with basic amenities, IDs and round-the-clock protection. This is a Modi government minister who has said that hundreds of Rohingyas, it is Modi government's policy to settle hundreds of Rohingyas. This tweet is still live. It is not deleted. This is the official policy of BJP. And today, before elections, you come and start making an issue ki, "Arey bhai, pehle Hardeep Singh Puri ji se पूछिए, why is he bringing Rohingya?"
All right, Jasmine, we have very limited time on this discussion, which is why I'd like to quickly take a rebuttal from Tuhin before
Akansha, that particular tweet was denied, was immediately, Hardeep Singh Puri ji has immediately issued a clarification. Nothing of that sort is going to happen. And, history speaks for itself. We have always been the ones raising the alarm with regard to illegal migration in the country. Now, he might bring, a screenshot which he may have saved from 2022, but the fact is that tweet has been denied. That tweet is not live, and that entire fact has been denied by the Honorable Minister.
Jasmine, the question I have for the Aam Aadmi Party is that, you were crying just few days ago, you were crying foul that, voters' names are being deleted from the electoral rolls, and there is a BJP hand behind it. Now, when these names of illegal immigrants are being removed, why are you accusing the BJP of sheltering Bangladeshis in the country when they are getting down to cracking down upon them?
No, but you look at the entire chronology, as Amit Shah ji likes to say.
The chronology can also be posed to the Aam Aadmi Party, because you've just made a U-turn within days.
No, we are not taking a U-turn. Please do not misrepresent the facts. I will tell you the real strategy of BJP to win the elections. Thousands and thousands of voters are being deleted in every assembly constituency. In one constituency, Shadra, they deleted 11,000 votes. We did a sample survey of some 500 voters. All of them turned out to be Purvanchalis, people living from UP and Bihar in Delhi for 30 years, 35 years, 40 years. Somebody is Ram, somebody is Lakhan, somebody is Suresh.
Many of them are also illegal immigrants.
See, this is the idea.
I think, I'm not going to speak for the party.
You settle Rohingyas in Delhi, but when you want to cut into the Aam Aadmi Party base, in the name of Rohingyas, you go and cut the names of Purvanchalis. This is the real face of BJP that they need to answer.
I'm sure, Tuhin, that question's been posed many times, and I think it comes back to you again that as far as the law and order situation is concerned, border security is concerned, controlling illegal immigration is concerned, the ball
even
is
Delhi
in your
police
court.
Is concerned.
Okay, the ball is in your court. How do you respond to that?
As far as BSF is concerned, BSF has done an exemplary job. The problem was that a significant part of the border in Bengal, from where the migration still happens, remained unfenced. And Mamata Banerjee continued to create problems with regard to the giving away of that land to the central government. Now, she had a problem with the jurisdiction of the BSF. We extended the jurisdiction of BSF to 50 kilometers, to a radius of 50 kilometers from the border. She had a problems with that. So state governments, and why is this problem only rampant in Indie alliance states? Assam has shown the way to deal with illegal migrants in the last few years. 30,000 illegal migrants have been deported back from Assam.
Right.
In fact, if you
and I would like to point out right now, referring to figures of 2023, 50,000 infiltrators have been cracked down upon. In fact, 2005 to 2010, when it was the UPA government, we've seen illegal infiltrators as far as Rohingyas are concerned, 8,500 of them, and the number has been consistently coming down. Jasmine, how do you respond to these figures which are declining as far as infiltration?
The thing, and again I point to this dichotomy that BJP spokesperson come and state some facts, but their own ministers, their own government has an official policy statement, and I challenge the BJP spokesperson, please go to Twitter, and I also request CNN News 18 to put out a fact check. The post by Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri is live. He stands by his statement that India has committed to UN that all Rohingya refugees will be brought in India and settled in Bakarwala facts of EWS. Why don't you delete it? Why don't you state the truth? Go and ask Hardeep Singh Puri.
I want to end with your thoughts. The big question also is that why didn't such a crackdown happen just before the Lok Sabha election?
No, it's been happening in different states. It has nothing to do with assembly elections. It has been happening across the country. In fact, if you read reports of the last 2 weeks, in Rajasthan and in Chhattisgarh, illegal Bangladeshis have been caught and they're being deported. So it's an ongoing process which happens across the country as and when, we get leads, as and when get to know of them, the action takes place.
All right, I'm afraid I'm running short of time. I'll have to leave it at that. Many thanks to you, Tuhin and Jasmine, for joining in and making your respective points. And with that, it's time to cut to a quick break. But believe it or not, 2024 has been a year of maximum armed conflict since World War II. As 2024 now draws to a close, we look back at the geopolitical changes in the year gone by. This in an exclusive conversation with UN spokesperson Farhan Haq. Stay tuned to Brass Tacks.
मैं यहाँ से अपनी गाड़ी में गई इस्लामाबाद, वहाँ पे जो भेजने वाले था पेडलर जो था, मैंने उसको गाड़ी की चाबी हाथ में थमा दी, मैंने वहाँ पे उससे 50 ग्राम लिए और मैंने गाड़ी उसको वहाँ पे छोड़ दी। वहाँ से मैं हीरोइन लाती थी। इवन के मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं होगी, मतलब इतना ये इंसान को मजबूर करता है ना कि मतलब हेल्पलेस इंसान इतना हो जाता है।
मैं आपको पर्टिकुलरली तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ किसी कारणवश, बट ये है कि हाँ, महिलाओं के ज़रिए जो गाँव आगे हैं वहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं से महिलाओं के ज़रिए आता है पीछे। ड्रग्स पे जितना कंट्रोल हो सके, जितना नहीं पूरा कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल होना चाहिए।
Are women easy drug mules? Are agencies less suspecting of women peddling drugs? Mere coincidence or a conspiracy? The pattern is definitely concerning, one that our security agencies are not neglecting. CNN News 18 reported in early 2024 on Pakistan's role in pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir, highlighting involvement of overground workers in recruiting for this trade.
चाहे वो बच्चे हैं, चाहे वो औरतें हैं, चाहे कैसे भी करते हैं, उनको पता है आपके कोई भी हमारा दाव पेच जो भी है, उन्होंने हम सब भी हथकंडे इस्तेमाल किए, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह वो फेल रहे। ये जो यूथ है तो इसको भी उकसाने का मसला है। कोई स्कूल से है, कोई कॉलेज से है, कोई कहीं से है, किसी को पता ही नहीं होता, सिर्फ पैसों की लालच है।
Despite visible law enforcement actions, drug syndicates continue adopting new methods. This time around, we visited areas like Rajouri, Poonch, Doga, Anantnag and Baramulla that are revealing a significant trend: increasing participation of women in the illegal narcotics trade.
मिलिटेंटों को और उनके भेजने वालों को ये मालूम है कि हिंदुस्तान से जम्मू कश्मीर को पाकिस्तान नहीं छीन सकता। इस सब के लिए यहाँ का आदमी चाहिए, और यहाँ का आदमी उनके साथ वही जा सकता है जो कहीं मजबूर होता है। मिलिटेंट हमारे लिए इतना नुकसानदेह नहीं है जितना हमारे घर का एक लड़का भी अगर इस नशे की लत में फंस गया तो वो बगैर गोली के पूरी फैमिली को मार सकता है।
महिलाएं एक आसान सा टारगेट है और वो ये काम करती हैं, मगर हमारी पुलिस और ये जो एजेंसियां हैं ये पूरी तरीके से चौकन्ना है।
Since 2023, 3,190 cases have been registered and 4,536 individuals arrested in Jammu and Kashmir's crackdown on illegal narcotics. To disrupt supply chains, authorities invoked the PIT NDPS Act, lending to 463 detention orders in 18 months. In Rajouri district alone, 27 cases have been registered and 39 arrests made in 2024, with several cases involving women.
अगर करना वाले जो है या वहाँ उस साइड वाले वो तो ईजिली लाते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ से जो फिर दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जो पेडलर्स लाते हैं, हम तो ठहरे छोटे मोटे करने वाले हैं, है ना, मतलब हम लाते 4 ग्राम 5 ग्राम जो केजीज में लाते हैं। कॉमन सेंस की बात है, जब तक उनको वहाँ पे मतलब किसी का सपोर्ट नहीं होगा, किसी के साथ बातचीत नहीं होगी, इतना इजी तो है नहीं कि ये आटे का थैला तो नहीं है ना इंसान हाथ में लेके थमा के चलेगा। मेरे साथ भी ऐसे कुछ थे पुलिस के, मतलब जिनको पता था कि मैं करती हूँ और उनको पता था ये यहाँ से आती है जाती है रोज, मतलब इसको लाना होता है 50,000 का भी, 10,000 का भी, 20,000 का भी। हाँ, इट्स मतलब कॉमन थिंग है। मैं भी उनको मतलब इवन के मतलब कभी कभार ऐसा होता था, फिर वो बोलते थे नहीं अब आप हमारे साथ एक सौदा कर लो, अगर तुम महीने में मतलब 4 लाख 5 लाख का लाती हो, चलो हमें भी 50,000 दिया करो महीने में। Yes, exactly. हाँ, बिल्कुल।
In past also we have done a lot of seizures. In past also 10 kg this narcotics was seized, and that was of high value. And recently also we have seized 9 kilograms of ganja that was being carried out from this border belt. So.
Farhan Haq, thank you for joining in on CNN News 18. Let me begin by how deeply polarized this year has been. According to the World Peace Index, till June of 2024, the world was being faced by 56 conflicts, which is being claimed as the highest number of countries engaged in conflict since World War II. Can you shed light on how global conflict has surged in 2024, and what does UN attribute this deeply polarized world to?
Yes, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has called the world a mess because what he says is that there's been essentially a failure to abide by multilateralism. For many decades, the international system, including the United Nations and other regional and international organizations, would help to stabilize the situation so that there would be negotiations, there would be different venues where countries could talk to each other and settle their differences. In recent years, we've seen more cases where countries take unilateral actions and don't heed international norms. You've had the Russian Federation going into Ukraine and not heeding the calls of the United Nations to abide by the resolutions of the UN General Assembly. You've had the horrific Hamas attack on Israel, but then you had Israel go into Gaza and essentially destroy large chunks of Gaza without heeding calls, again, from the General Assembly and from the international community for a ceasefire. And over again, we've had different conflicts in Sudan, and in the eastern part of the Congo, where there are different countries getting involved in situations.
Most recent being Syria.
Refusing. Yeah, most recently in Syria, but Syria, I believe, had also been a country where different nations had been interfering ever since the start of the crisis there in 2011 and 2012. So there had been different sorts of interference.
Right.
Now the difference is that the Assad government has fallen. That gives, on the one hand, a potential for the Syrian people to build a new world for themselves. But ultimately, in order to do that, the sort of interference that they've been facing has to end.
It's interesting that you talk about the failure of multilateralism, and I'm going to take that forward. But before I do that, this year we've also witnessed how forcibly displaced population has doubled to 120 million over the past 10 years. Could you also share with us some key facts and figures about global displacement in 2024?
Oh yeah, no, the amount of global displacement has indeed gone up, and our appeals for them have had to go up too. We're spending billions of dollars dealing with millions of people who are relocated in different parts of the world. You've had a huge amount of refugees pouring out of Sudan. You've had displacement of Lebanese into Syria. Now you have people, and then you've had Syrians displacing from the recent crises. And onwards throughout the world. The thing is that while there haven't been multilateral solutions to the crises we faced, the multilateral system has been trying to deal with the cleanup in terms of contributing. The problem is now there's donor fatigue. So many of the appeals that we put out for different countries are filled only about a third or about 20%. And we need much more than that so that we can feed and house refugees.
In July, UN experts did call on the Bangladesh government to immediately end the violent crackdown against protesters and political opponents and ensure accountability for human rights violations. But why wasn't UN able to achieve much in terms of ending atrocities against minorities, particularly Hindus, Buddhists and Christians? Critics blame it on the West's approach to third world countries.
I don't think it's as much as that. The problem is that nations are sovereign entities. And when we deal with nations, we can encourage them to do things. But since they are sovereign entities, we need to have willingness on behalf of the national governments to cooperate. So that's a process, and in countries like Bangladesh, I don't think it's a process that can happen overnight, but it can happen over time. That we negotiate and we deal with them, and we try to get them to abide by international norms. I think that this is a case where once the concerns of the international community are brought to bear, hopefully we can have a receptive ear.
All right, I just want to quickly come to the multilateral aspect of this, because remember, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres also highlighted the failure of multilateralism. He's also spoken about how 80 years ago, when the UN framework was being designed, the challenges, rather the geopolitical challenges of today, were unforeseen. I want to ask you, what are the hopes for India at the horseshoe table? Given that it's a leading voice of the global south, it's also sort of, endorsed a multipolar approach in terms of diplomacy. But we've seen how the current UNSC is failing to address the global challenges, which is why I want to ask you, how crucial is it now to sort of revamp the UNSC and include countries like India?
Well, the UN does need reforming, and certainly the Security Council does. The difficulty is that under the UN Charter, for the Security Council to be reformed, ultimately the member states themselves, including the Security Council members, need to approve of the changes to the format. That's why it's somewhat difficult, for example, to change the use of the veto, although we have been encouraging countries not to use the veto as much. But certainly there's a general sentiment among member states that there's a need for expansion, and Antonio Guterres supports that. The council does need to be expanded. It does need more legitimacy. It needs countries that are large countries, and it needs also countries from Africa who have never been there. So we're encouraging that process, but ultimately we're dealing with a case where you have the hundreds of member states who themselves will have to ultimately approve of any of this change for it to go through.
I believe that, as far as the milestone of the UN reaching the 80th anniversary next year, reform becomes the need of the hour. And now, looking ahead to 2025, Farhan, I just want to know from you, given that the US President-elect Donald Trump has arrived with the key promise of ending the wars, and soon after his victory, in fact, the Secretary General had reaffirmed that the UN stands ready to work constructively with the incoming administration to address the dramatic challenges the world is currently facing. What are the UN's expectations from the incoming Trump administration?
We are dealing with them as we deal with any government. And obviously the United States, as a member of the Security Council, as one of the major economies in the world, is a key player in any multilateral solutions in the world. This Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, was in fact the Secretary General of the United Nations the last time that Donald Trump was president. And so we expect to have the same sort of productive relationship we had during that 4-year span just a few years ago. And we'll continue to build on the sort of understandings we had then.
Let's hope that 2025 is able to control those armed conflicts that we've also discussed in our discussion today. Many thanks to you, Farhan, for joining in on CNN News 18. It was a pleasure to connect with you as always.
Thanks. Have a happy new year.
To you too.
Green Lamb Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
We're live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, brought to you by Green Lamb Laminates. Viewers, the Congress government in Telangana has decided to go for Allu Arjun's jugular. Why else would the Congress Telangana Jing Bang decide to at once open several fronts unrelated to the Stampede case against the actor? It boggles the mind, viewers. There is one principal investigation going on. But there's a whole lot of other stuff now. that has begun to pile up on Allu's door. All sorts of Congress wannabes have decided to prosecute him, boycott him, ban him, complain against him to the police for all sorts of trivial reasons. Some of them reek, viewers, of an emergency mindset. More on that in just a bit. First, a little bit about the Telangana police's interrogation of the beleaguered actor today. Allu Arjun appeared before the police at the appointed time this morning to record his statement in connection with the Sandhya Theatre stampede case, in which a woman had died and her son was left seriously injured early December. Allu Arjun's lawyers, his father Allu Arvind and father-in-law Chandrasekhar